Because your team focusing East Lingfield, Lingfield, Roseville, Killara, in this
Roseville to
premium,
Gordon, anything Roseville to
premium
Gordon.
Pocket. So what do you think is the difference between this area to other areas in the North Shore?
Yeah, look, I think everybody's going to resonate with...
Apart from the prices.
Yeah, the prices are quite expensive. They didn't used to be, but I think, going back to your question, is I think every area will resonate with somebody. You know, I think a lot of our buyers move to these areas for good schools. You know, you go further down the line, you know, even in Willoughby, Chatswood, you can be 500, 600, 700 square metre blocks where you've got nice, plentiful block sizes here, up of 8,000, 9,000 square metres. So for the value for money perspective, you get a bigger house with a bigger land for the same money that you would spend on the lower North Shore.
And what do you think? Well, based on what you see, you know, recently, who are driving the market now? Are you seeing more family home buyers upsizing, or are you seeing more downsized buyers?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, it's interesting. This market that we've gone through, this transitional market over the last 6 months, I feel that it has been a really good market for people to upsize in. You know, say the $5 or $6 million property that may have been out of reach 12 months ago, all of a sudden is a little bit closer and more achievable. So we are seeing a lot of people who are upgrading. Again, we're seeing the downsizers. We are seeing the young families looking to move to the area for the reasons I was just talking about. But one of the things that we are seeing that we haven't ever seen before, given basically the rezoning that's happening in this whole kind of Upper North Shore area, Ku-ring-gai area, there's a lot of people who have lived in these beautiful homes that have been, you know, 500 or 1,000 metres from the train station. People are going, I don't want to live near apartments anymore, and I don't want. So there's a lot of people who are taking advantage of moving out, potentially getting a decent price, and then there's been a lot of people who are buying into the area for, again, just want to be like proximity, potentially land bank for a longer term plan that they might get the knock on the door from the developer. That's something we haven't really dealt with before, but we're seeing a lot of that at the moment.
Okay, so the buyers that you've seen recently, in terms of behaviour, in terms of their decision towards buying a property, has that changed recently?
I think there's been there's a little bit of nervousness in the air from a buyer's perspective, and I think, look, we've all been buyers of homes. We always want to make sure we time the market right and buy the best price we possibly can. But I think it is impossible really to finesse the market. I think when you're looking at property, it's very different to stocks and shares and what have you. When you're buying a property, you're looking at 10, 15, 20 years. Whatever you buy at today, the property is going to go up in time. That's how the last 30 years of the Australian property market has gone. So the likelihood is it's going to continue to grow over time. Like if you buy it today and sell it in 6 months, that's different. But I think if you are looking long term, this is a safe place to spend your money. But I think the media drives a lot of those conversations. There's just uncertainty from a buyer's perspective, and you've got to appreciate, yes, people talk about cost of living, the houses that we're working with are not cheap. People are finding a bit of a squeeze financially, and with interest rate rises, doesn't help. But I think my view is, from a buyer's perspective, if you are looking to buy, just buy. You know, if other people aren't out there, you know, there's not 10 buyers in your auction or in the back garden fighting it out, that's a great time to be buying.
That's why there is a saying, the best time to buy is always yesterday. But look, the market is shifting towards buyer's market a little bit now. I guess, you know, based on what Daniel was just saying, if you're ready, if you see the right house, just go for it.
Just make the offer.
Yeah, from our point of view, we do see, you know, we do agree that now is a good time to buy because it's less competitive and there are heaps of stocks available. So yeah, just go for it if you're ready. Let's go back a little bit. You've been doing this for a long time. You've done a lot of sales. Do you have one most memorable sale? Is that your first sale, or is there a particular one?
Got mentioned yesterday, actually, my first sale. We were talking about it in the office. That was One in Gordon, I was kind of the second agent on there, and there was one in Darnley Street in Gordon.
Okay.
Remember that one? Really nice owners. It was that was good. But there's been so many, so many good houses, or ones that you just, you almost want to fall in love and live in it yourself.
Yeah. So for a lot of agents, I think their first sale would be the most memorable sale. But if there is anything that during the sales process that's kind of special, is there one sale like that?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it's the people. I think you see a lovely family moving on to their next stage in their life, or you see a lovely family buying a house. They come in with kids this big, and then they go out with kids that are teenagers. And we've got a property starting next week that we sold probably about 11 years ago now. I remember the kids coming through. They were small, and now the teenagers, uni, going off doing their own thing, and you see the family moving through that transition, and that's kind of special to help people either sell their most expensive asset or buy something, or just the journey. That's kind of pretty important. But there's been plenty of good houses along the line.
Let's talk about vendors, because the market is changing. It is changing every day. All of a sudden, buyers feel they have more power, but on the other side, what do you see from the vendors? Are there any changes in the mindset, or because of what's going on in the market?
I think again over the last 10-15 years, I think vendors have been pre-programmed to expect a sale like that in Sydney. Obviously I'm from the UK, where and I did sell a house not long ago, you have to be prepared for 6 to 9 months to sell a property in the UK, and it's turbulent going through the process. People fall out, drop out of the deal and what have you. But I think in terms of the vendors in Sydney, I think there's just an element you've got to be a bit patient at the moment. Buyers are taking a bit more time to connect with the property. Again, the media, the conversations that we're having, obviously the things that are happening with the RBA. But buyers are just taking time. So I think as long as you're a cool-headed, calm agent, you can hold the vendor's hand, help them through this process, because it's daunting. It is. I think it's not
emotional as well.
100%. It's daunting to actually sell your property. Some of these owners haven't done this for 20, 30, 40 years.
There you go.
And then we've dropped into a market where things aren't selling in 3 weeks. If you can sell your house in 3-4 weeks, that's great. But we also have to be prepared that it could take you a little bit longer to achieve the price you want.
So what's the most important thing for vendors to get it right in this market? Is it prep? Is it staging, for example?
I think it's everything. It's back to basics. You present the property, you promote the property, you price it correctly, make sure the strategy with the pricing is good. And again, I think if a vendor is on the market today, there's motivation that they want to move on, they want to sell. People aren't really testing. So from a buyer's perspective, if you see a property that's on the market for an auction, there's a real intent that the owners do want to sell the house.
There you go.
They're not just trying it out and seeing what happens.
So we are seeing more buyers getting more cautious these days. Do you think that's in relation to the stock quality, or is it because of less competition these days?
I think some buyers will go and attend an auction, and there might be 3 or 4 people registered. They don't want to be the first person, and then if the other people are also feeling the same, they don't want to be the first person to bid. Sometimes it can be this 5-minute or 10-minute standoff where nobody wants to bid and nobody wants to put their hand up in the air. But I think there's elements like that would obviously hold people back a little bit. But I think you've just got to if you see the house that you like, see the house that you love, you've just got to go for it. I mean, you can't go, well, if that chap over there is not bidding, I might wait. I mean, I actually look at that as there's a bit of a benefit there. If he's not bidding, I'm going to bid, or I'm going to work with the agent to actually get the deal done, because I don't want to lose this house. I want to be the one that's winning the auction and living in the house for the next 10 or 15 years.
Daniel, let's talk about the current market a little bit more. How are your listings going so far, all your listings? Do you think auction or for sale, which one is a better approach to sell in this market?
Yeah, sometimes it's down to the house in particular. You know, I always look at it and go, we've got A grade properties, B grade properties, C grade properties, sort of A on the best street, best aspect, flat land. So A's are always going to sell whatever the market, whatever the weather, they're always going to do well. But I think it's just down to the actual property itself. I mean, looking at the campaigns that we've got, I mean, between the team and I, we've actually got a good number of really good quality homes on the market at the moment. Every single house has got an offer on it.
Oh, that's
pretty much every house has got an offer on it at the moment, but it's just really finding the point where the property is saleable and the buyers are prepared to make the offers at that level. So, you know, for example, we have just reduced a price of a property by a, you know, 100,000 or 200,000. All of a sudden, we've got two buyers who have fallen in love with the house, feel that there's good value there, and now they're competing. So we might even end up back where we started. So it's back to if you see the house that you really love, just go, just do it.
Hey Daniel, if there is one job that's not a real estate agent, what would that be?
That's a good
For
question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. I think from my perspective, I do enjoy working with property, and you see people come through a house that needs a whole lot of work. They've got a vision. You know, they come through, they look at it, and they just, you know, see that flat back garden with no pool, and they go, okay, this is where the pool's going to go. This is where the extension's going to go. I do enjoy that side of things. You know, so would it be buy and renovate homes? You know, it'd be nice to have one that had like a 3 or 4 car garage that I can put all my cars and toys one day.
So it's still homes.
Yeah, look, I do like that. I mean, again, going back to my background with working in cars, you know, I like cars, motorbikes, something, just anything with a bit of a passion.
You have a motorbike, right?
I've got 2, yeah.
You got 2, okay. Tell us about that.
I've got a couple of Ducatis.
Wow.
So I got 2, bought one, it's like a race bike, a Panigale in 2018, got that one, and I bought another one last year. We rode down to Phillip Island and watched the MotoGP. That was pretty cool.
Real enthusiast.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, this job, we work so hard, 6 days a week. You need something where you can just go out, clear your head, and just escape from your phone maybe for an hour or 2.
What colours are Ducatis?
Red.
Both red?
Both red.
Why?
Because that's what colour it is. It's like Ferrari, right? You go, why is a Ferrari red?
Yeah,
it's a Ferrari.
Well, looking forward to seeing your bikes one day.
Yeah, definitely.